we're going to look at now is the circular flow of income. So we're going to look at money flowing between households and firms. So what happens is households supply to firms land, labour and capital. Right, so the wealthier households have land which firms will rent off them. So firms will pay households rent for that land. Households work for firms, that's their labour, and they are paid wages. And households may well, I say the word invest, but it's not quite the right word, but households may put money in firms, which is known as capital, and in return for that, think Dragon's Den, in return for that they get interest, maybe dividends or profits. So households are supplying these factors of production to firms. Firms are paying households money in those different forms for what households are supplying. Then what happens is households are going to spend that money on the goods that firms produce. So we're going to have households spending on goods and services. So that's the flow of money from households to firms. So money goes from firms to households, and then money goes from households to firms when households buy the goods and services. And then we have the flow of goods and services from firms to households. And what happens is you keep having the money flowing around the circular flow, and it goes from households to firms and back again. Now, this is what happens if we have what's called a closed economy, where we've got no government and we've got we've not got any foreign trade. But in reality, we do have a government and we do have foreign trade, so the money flowing around the circular flow is not going to continually be the same. So if we start off with £100, it's not going to continually be £100, because what we have is we have money coming into the circular flow from outside, and we also get money leaving the circular flow. So if we have a look at what that means, we have injections into the circular flow. So that's new money entering the circular flow. So injections into the circular flow would be government spending. So that would be extra money coming into the circular flow. We also have investment. So that's businesses deciding they're going to spend on investment in perhaps new machinery, bigger factories. And we have exports, that's money coming from abroad. So what that's going to do is that's going to increase the money going around the circular flow. But not all of that money that households receive is going to be spent. Not all of this money that they get here, it's not all going to be spent. Some of it is going to leave the circular flow. So we're going to have some withdrawals from the circular flow. Those withdrawals are the opposite to the injections. So with the withdrawals, the opposite to government spending will be tax. So some of the money that the households receive in wages or as profit will be taxed. Some of the money households are going to save, so it's not all going to go back to the firm. So some of the money that the households receive as wages, they're going to save, so it doesn't all go back to the firm. And some of the money they're going to spend on imports, so that leaves the circular flow. So what we've got is we've got this circular flow of income, but it doesn't all go back to firms. All the money that households receive does not all go back to firms, because some of it's taxed, some of it's saved, and some is spent on imports. But the amount of money going around the circular flow can also increase due to the injections into the circular flow, known as government spending, investment, and exports. So what we've got is we've got this circular flow, and the amount of money going around could increase or it could decrease. So if we have injections, let's say our total injections were 100, but our total withdrawals were 50, then overall we're going to have an increase in the money going around the circular flow. But if we had injections of just 50 and withdrawals were 100, you've got more money leaving than you've got entering, so the amount going around the circular flow is going to fall.